A nation and the people on the move, keeping you up to date. Belmopan Weekly.
Tonight on Belmopan Weekly, major initiative launched by the National Library Service, the Ministry of the Public Service working on improving leadership in the public sector, plus a new look at the Development Finance Corporation. These and more top news stories. Good evening and thanks so much for being with us on this Thursday, the 20th of October. I'm Dawn Mitchell. The Ministry of the Public Service, Governance Improvement, Elections and Boundaries and Sports held a workshop this week in Belize City at the Best Western Belize Biltmore Hotel entitled Leadership and Change in Public Sector. Belmopan Weekly's Ada Herrera was there and shares more.
There are many definitions for a good leader, but one of the best is perhaps a person who has inspiration and passion and who gets things done by infusing his peers with enthusiasm and energy. The Chief Executive Officer in the Ministry of Public Service, Mr. Charles Gibson, expounds.
How do you motivate the people who you supervise? And one of the things we hope to address today is motivational issues. What are some of the rewards that can be extended to employees to have them to feel that they are more part of the organization, that they feel that they have ownership to what we're doing.
He went on to explain the importance of the Leadership and Change in Public workshop, which aims to impart and infuse such leadership attributes.
The idea is to discuss what are some of the key leadership issues which needs to be addressed in the public service. Right now we have some consultants from Canada who are looking at a Caribbean leadership development program, and since they're here we ask them to assist in conducting the workshop, and it's primarily to look at leadership issues within the public service to see how we can do things a little bit more innovatively, to do things differently from the way we have been doing things in the past.
6 points to keep in mind when creating a culture of change in public sector were outlined as follows. Understanding the present environment, recognize that change management culture starts at the top, establish channels of communication, give employees the tools for successful change management, build a change management structure, follow up to create better change results. The CEO emphasized how pleased he was with the turnout of the workshop.
Yes, I think that this is a wonderful opportunity for heads of department. I'm very, very pleased that this morning we have 41 of a possible 47 people attending this workshop.
Ada Herrera reporting for Belmopan Weekly.
A major initiative by the National Library Service aimed at promoting reading and facilitating research by students and the general public was launched this week countrywide. Rudy Aguilar has the details.
Eric Block, EBSCO representative for the Caribbean and Central America, explained what the EBSCO launching was all about and what it meant, particularly for students and researchers.
Today marks a memorable day as we join in the official launch of the nationwide EBSCO electronic database subscription that will provide an extensive online bibliographic library composed of over 20,000 full-text publications, including books, journals, magazines, newspapers, and other sources. These sources cover all areas of academic study, and most importantly, these sources will be accessible and available to all Belizean citizens. These resources are the same resources that the top academic institutions, universities, schools, companies, and government ministries use throughout the world, and they are now available once again for all Belizean citizens.
Minister of Education and Youth, Honorable Patrick Faber, was guest speaker at the formal launch of EBSCO at ITVET in Belize City on Wednesday morning. He expressed his great desire that all students of all educational institutions make maximum utilization of such a beneficial tool.
I'm hoping that all tertiary institutions, but in particularly our national university, the University of Belize, will understand what a tremendous resource this is. And I hope that tertiary students all over this country will understand that this is a contribution on the part of your government to your studies, and that you will utilize this to the best of your ability in order to make sure that we have wonderful research in this country?
Minister Faber expressed his fervent hope that this wonderful tool will be used to develop our beloved nation. But why should our Belizean students and citizens stand up and take notice of EBSCO? We posed that question to Chief Librarian Ms. Joyce Aguirre, who told us that the EBSCO database encompasses a large number of major databases of precious information for students and the general public.
This database has to my mind a powerful research tool that can be used in terms of self-development, can be used in terms of research for projects and that kind of thing. So I feel that, well, for me, from the information standpoint, this is one of the more exciting things coming out of the Ministry of Education, or one of the many exciting things coming from out of the Ministry of Education. And I feel that once it is utilized properly, it will be of tremendous benefit to this country.
And how can students in particular access this database, and what can they expect to find?
It is possible to access the database via the internet. Once you have internet access, you can access any of these databases.
And speaking of our youth and the great potential the National Library Service has in assisting them with large volumes of information, we asked the Chief Librarian what would be one thing that she would like to see realized during her tenure.
One of the things that I want to see is one of our main objectives of the library, that of creating a literate environment. I want to see where families come into the library and read and participate in the whole process of learning in a relaxed atmosphere, and be able to transmit this to kids and others. A library fully utilized for research, and a library that is has made major contributions to a literate environment.
For Belmopan Weekly, I am Rudy Aguilar.
The Belize National Library Service has been in existence since 1935. For more information, you can visit them online at www.nlsbze.bz. We'll be right back with more Belmopan Weekly in a moment. Stay with us.
Belize's children are not for sale.
Protect us.
Put an end to commercial sexual exploitation.
Let us not, by our inaction, become accomplices to sexual exploitation.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, thanks for tuning in. More top news stories now. On Tuesday, October 4th, 2011, Cabinet reviewed production sharing agreement applications made by petroleum companies to the government of Belize for exploration blocks recently relinquished by Belize Natural Energy Limited. After reviewing the applications, Cabinet has awarded these exploration blocks to Perinco Limited. Cabinet advises that the general public has 10 days from October 18, 2011 to make representation and offer any objections to the award. Should members of the public have objections to this award, they may submit their objections in writing to the Geology and Petroleum Department, Ministry of Natural Resources and the Environment, Market Square, City of Belmopan, via fax 822-3538 or email geology@mnrei.gov.bz no later than October 27, 2011. The general public is advised that they are welcome to visit the Geology and Petroleum Department to obtain information on the applications. With support from the CART Fund, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, in conjunction with Beltrade and other agencies, is hosting a series of forums countrywide on export opportunities for Belize within the CARICOM Single Market and Economy, CSME. The main objective of these forums is to sensitize stakeholders on the demand in CARICOM for agricultural goods, the flexibilities available for trade growth and expansion, funding options, and ways to satisfy the international standards for exporting. The forums will include discussion on existing export opportunities within the CARICOM, special funding for the productive sector through the Development Finance Corporation, business support services provided by Beltrade, among others. The next of these forums will be held in Dangriga Town on the 25th of October 2011 at the Red Cross Center beginning at 9 a.m. There are many business opportunities available to the private sector under the CSME. All Belizeans are encouraged to participate in these forums. To confirm your participation or to find out more information, you can send emails to beltrade@belizeinvest.org.bz or call them at 822-3737. Up next, the Development Finance Corporation launches a new branch, and Mrs. Kim Simplice Barrow helps launch a new book, These Stories, when we come back. Don't go anywhere.
What if a disaster strikes without warning? What if life, as you know it, is completely turned on its head? What if everything familiar becomes anything but? Before a disaster turns your family's world upside down, it's up to you to be ready. Get a kit, make a plan, be informed today. Learn how at www.nemo.org.bz.
We regret to inform you that there are no vacancies. You have no skills. You have no skills. You are not prepared.
This position requires a high school diploma.
We're not interested.
Try again next month or come back next week.
There are no job openings at this time.
I'm sorry, but we cannot accept him back this year.
are only as strong as the foundation we are built upon. Remember, as a society, we reap what we sow. However, it's never too late to engage our youths positively and support their dreams and aspirations. For more information on support services for families of children at risk of coming in conflict with the law, contact the Community Rehabilitation Department at 223-2716. This message is brought to you by the Community Rehabilitation Department, the National Committee for Families and Children, and UNICEF.
As you may recall, Prime Minister Dean Barrow, in his heralded Independence Day address, pledged his continued commitment to economic development in accordance with his 2008 manifesto via the Development Finance Corporation, or more commonly referred to as the DFC. Belmopan Weekly's Claudia Grouch brings you an update on the current state of the DFC.
The Development Finance Corporation has undergone a major overhaul since Prime Minister Barrow's administration assumed office. The changes have been implemented from the ground up, from the restructuring of administration and the board of directors to how and where the finances are monitored and invested. Mr. Franklin Magloire, Assistant General Manager of the DFC operations, provided Belmopan Weekly with an interview.
In 2009, there was a new act that formed the new DFC, and it differentiated the old DFC from the new one in the sense that the DFC right now it is basically private sector driven. We have a board of directors that is controlled by more or less controlled by the private sector. And so what has happened is that whereas before you had a board of directors that was controlled by the minister responsible for the DFC, right now it is more, the decisions made are more independent and more private sector driven. There was a lot of concern. The organization was a drain on the financial resources of the government. There was high non-performance. We had a portfolio of about 300 million, half of which was non-performing, meaning that loans were in arrears. And so we had to clean up. And in order for us to access monies from financial institutions, international financial institutions, we must clean up the portfolio.
The DFC is performing remarkably well under the new management system, as the portfolio debt has been reduced 74% from 300 million in 2008 to 79 million as of September 2011. They are hard at work to cut the remaining debt in half within the next year. Given the DFC's recent success along with the resurgence of local economy, it's vital that DFC expands its operations throughout the country. Belmopan Weekly was on hand for the grand opening of the Orange Walk facility. We spoke to General Manager of DFC Operations, Ms. Natalie Goff.
Since we have resumed lending and with demand for credit here in Orange Walk, we have had to expand, increase our staff complement. In 2008, we had 2 members of staff. Today, we have 9. And so the conditions over there were very cramped. And last year, because of the demand for credit and because of the confidence DFC has in the economy, we acquired this property here. And 10 months later, we have moved into our new property, new and improved, much better environment for the customers and conducive to productivity for the staff.
We asked what new initiatives DFC is undertaking in the north to help stimulate local business.
Most of our lending is geared towards some sort of economic development. That is what the development bank is for. Orange Walk and the north on a whole is known for the productive sector. And so we're looking to expand into new communities, the Mennonite communities. We launched our sugarcane replanting program earlier this year, and that is going to be continued, hopefully with the new EU line of credit. And we're looking at things like export financing to help the people in the productive sector. We have a new line of credit from the CDF, which is geared towards green projects and which also has a component for technical assistance for our borrowers. And so as we get out there and promote all these things, we are hoping that people will come in and see DFC as their first choice for financial services.
For Belmopan Weekly, I am Claudia Grouch.
And even though the present government does not control the board of directors of the DFC, and it is geared to transparency, efficiency, and accountability. It commits to the people of Belize by continuously stimulating DFC and signing on behalf of the GOB to loans and grants that are provided to stimulate growth, educational development, job security, entrepreneurial investments, and in turn, spur economical development in Belize. In an effort to promote reading among Belizean children, the United States Embassy hosted the Belize Literacy Campaign and the book launch of Pat the Great Cat. It's a story of a down on his luck jaguar who finds triumph through his hardships. Not only will Pat capture the heart of Belizean children, but he'll also encourage them to read more. Belmopan Weekly's Dorian Pakeman has more.
The story of Pat the Great Cat, A Jaguar's Journey, was a collaborative effort between a group of children in Belize and Milwaukee and was facilitated by Sharp Literacy with the help of Nancy Kennedy and Barbara Dumalapoli, wife of the United States Ambassador to Belize, to name a few. Last Thursday, the children of Belize saw their undertaking come to fruition with the book launch hosted by the U.S. Embassy.
I figured that you'd all like to know how it started. The story, of course, is about a wonderful Belizean cat who went from Belize to Milwaukee Zoo. And the story is all brought together, was brought together by Nancy Kennedy, who took it to Mrs. Marlene Dorr Trail Camp here of Sharp Literacy, and together with some educators helped put the whole book together and the idea of this whole project.
The next phase of the literacy project is the development of a curriculum to be used in schools in conjunction with the book. Educators will use the book to incorporate lessons in topics such as geography, nature conservation, and compassion in the class setting. CEO of the Ministry of Education, David Leacock, addressed those in attendance on the importance of reading to our children.
Apart from the knowledge that a child gains from reading, when you read with or to a child, it also has many other positive benefits. The bonding that you establish between yourself and that child, if you're a parent or a relative, you help them to develop longer attention spans as they sit and listen. They learn to develop their imaginations. And so there are many other benefits to literacy other than just the fact that it is the foundation for further learning.
Special Envoy for Women and Children, Mrs. Kim Simply Sparrow, was also on hand to read Pat the Great Cat to the children in attendance. Belmopan Weekly caught up with her after to get her thoughts on the project.
I had a chance to read earlier today with the children, and this book is really an incredible creation. Nancy Kennedy did an amazing job along with Barbara Dumalapoli, and I would really like to congratulate them. I think this will be a success. I love the fact that it was really the input from the children of Belize and the children of Milwaukee. I love the fact that there's already curriculum attachment to it, and it will not only be for Belizean children but for children in the United States and the Americas. It means that more and more people will be hearing about Belize, and that is very important for us.
For Belmopan Weekly, I'm Dorian Pakeman.
To learn more about Pat the Great Cat and the Literacy Project, you can visit www.patthegreatcat.com, and if you'd like to find out how to obtain a copy for yourself, you can contact the Ministry of Education at 822-2380. Well, that's it for another edition of Belmopan Weekly. Thanks for tuning in. If you want to provide feedback or send in your comments, please feel free to email us at production@pressoffice.gov.bz or visit our Facebook page and let us know what you think. We look forward to hearing from you. Have a great week. Until next time.